So you're been practicing for some time, learning how to or understanding this concept of deliberate creation or law of attraction, manifestation, deliberate manifestation, whatever you want to call it. What we're talking about is this idea or this concept of where you're able to think of something and put your attention on it, and then let that thought evoke a certain feeling for you, and then maintain the experience of feeling that feeling. And as you continue to practice the experience of feeling that feeling, then what begins to happen to you is that the strength of the focus on that feeling is what causes your ability to experience the thing you've been wanting to manifest in your physical world. And I'm going to tell you there's a tool that you can use that is going to really help turbocharge and jumpstart your manifestation, not your practice, your manifestation actual results. And the reason I'm sharing this practice with you is because I've not seen anybody doing well in this manifestation game that doesn't have a meditation practice. And here's why. As you begin to think about something that you are desiring to create and you begin to feel the feelings of that thing, what will stop that manifestation will be some resistance that you put forth on that thing you're feeling in your imagination. That good feeling you're feeling only gets thwarted or only gets squashed or only gets, interfered with as a result of the resistance that you produce. So if you had a practice where you could build your focus muscle by practicing something that would allow you to focus your attention on something, and then your mind would come in and get distracted with something else. But this practice would allow you to notice this thing that you got distracted by. And the practice would then be to bring your attention back to something and then to just hold your attention onto something. And then there will be a thought that comes into your mind, and that thought now pulls my attention off of this thing that I'm looking at. And at some point, I notice that I'm not looking at this thing. So I take my attention off of this and I bring it back to this thing that I'm looking at. And then pretty soon a thought comes in and it pulls me off of this thing that I'm looking at. And at some point I become aware that I'm not focused on this thing that I'm going to look at. And I take my attention and I move it back to this thing that I was looking at. And now you see, every time I do this, it gets a little bit quieter. And then every time I get pulled off of what I'm focusing on by some distracting thought, when I come back, I can hold myself there a little bit longer. I can hold myself there a little bit more powerfully. And this practice now builds or develops what I call the focus muscle. This is just like going to the gym and building a bicep or a chest muscle or the shoulders, but we're building the focus muscle because the focus muscle is what ultimately is going to have you pay off in spades the things that you want to manifest. So your ability to focus on things combined with your ability to understand that the resistance is what's keeping it from coming in, combined would give you a real strong motivation. And I'm promoting this as well, that you start a meditation practice and you start it immediately. And let me just give you a quick breakdown of what that means. What that means is we want to set up a practice where you can put your attention on something and hold it there. And when you become aware of some thoughts in your mind, and they're going to come into your mind, at some point you become aware that you're not focusing on the thing that you chose to focus on, which could be your breath. It could be a candle flame. It could be the humming of an air conditioner or a refrigerator. It could be anything that you want to use to focus your attention on. But when you focus your attention on it, make sure it's not something that has your mind active. So, for example, it wouldn't be a good idea to sit in your bedroom when you can hear your family in the living room arguing and bickering over things that involve you. Because your mind is going to keep running over there and figuring and thinking and figuring and thinking. You want to get an environment that's quiet and find something extremely boring and tedious to put your attention on. Once you put your attention on that thing, then pretty soon there's going to be a thought that comes in and pulls you off. At some point, you're going to become aware of that thought and you just take your attention off it and bring it back to the thing that you're focusing on. And you just do that over and over and over, and it gets easier and lighter and softer and easier. And what's going to happen is you'll begin to notice, number one, right away, that there's going to be an ease or a calming down or pockets or experiences of respites of relief that you experience as you begin to quiet this mind. Now, as you begin to quiet this mind and you start to experience this relief, your emotional condition, your vibrational condition begins to rise. Why? Because you got all that tension off of this distracted running thoughts now. So now you're coming into more of a space of presence, and you come into the space of presence now with the mind quieted, combined with this ability to flex and focus this mind muscle through this constant meditation practice. Now you're starting to come into form of somebody who can actually put their attention on something, evoke a feeling that feels good to them, and that hold their attention on that feeling because this meditation practice has built this muscle up for them. So we need to get something that's like focus muscle steroids. So whatever condition you find yourself in, I want to let you know from my own experience and from well over 1,000 people that I've worked with this lifetime. It's a crummy feeling to not feel good. When you don't feel good, you got one real problem, and it kind of tarnishes, or it clouds, or it kind of invades and kind of dampens and kind of ruins everything that you're experiencing in life. You can't create new concepts and new stuff from there. Life is just kind of a bummer. And it's not a conversation that you really have a bunch of outlets to speak about. It's just you feel crummy, and then you spend time trying to just kind of hold on to your crumminess. The problem with that is you can't ever handle the crumminess by doing something different and more. The only way you're going to handle the crumminess is by discovering what the source of the crumminess is and then how to handle it. That's why I'm inviting you to join the Skool community, because in the Skool community, you're going to get a course full of modules where you're going to see me talking about these specific component parts of the law of manifestation, law of attraction, law of creation, whatever you want to call it. You're going to watch those videos. You're going to understand that this course is encapsulated in such a way that you can fully have an experience of yourself knowing what to do now. You can also download a free copy of my book, Think It, Feel It, Have It, The Keys to Creation. Just a quick blurb about that book. In there, I talk about the magnetic force, the magnetic field of the heart, the electromagnetic field of the heart, 5,000 times more powerful than the electromagnetic field of the mind. That's going to start to tell you something about how we're going from here to down into here. Also, over the last 15, 20 years, I've gathered what are the sources and the main causes of the resistance that we create for ourselves. I'm going to give you that as well. So you also, as you move and you start doing this work, you start to realize, if I don't keep in this conversation or stay with this work, I start to sink back into these old ways of being, or old thought patterns, or old conditioning, or old programming. So what I've done is I've now incorporated a weekly phone call that keeps you in this conversation. It's not the same as going to church, but the frequency of it and the experience of it is going to be the same. And that is, you're going to gather more knowledge, and you're going to release some more resistance and experience more relief. And lastly, this is a whole community. I think right now there's a couple hundred people in the Skool community. This is a whole community of like-minded people, people like you. You can start to interact with people in the group and start to find out more as you're moving along. And lastly, if this is something that's resonating for you and you're ready to really keep going and really take this on in a real concerted, directed, focused manner, there's programs where you and me can work together one-on-one. So let's get moving. Like, no kidding. Let's start moving in the direction that you want to, and have you start feeling better and start experiencing things that you want to experience in your life. Book a one-on-one call with me. And in that call, I'm going to lay this out for you really, really clear, in such a way that at the end of the call, you're going to understand that there is a way that you can go about getting yourself to be able to intentionally create things for yourself and for your life, and that how you've been doing it isn't this way. And I'm going to give you that on this phone call. Whether you choose to work with me further, that's a completely different conversation. And if that's something that comes up for you, we'll work that out at the time. But right now, let's just get in touch, and let's let you see just how this actually works, which I'm telling you, you're going to find is different than how you've been holding it. And I'm really looking forward to connecting with you and talking with you.